Well, it's been a couple of weeks, or at least it feels like it's been a couple of weeks, considering how crazy the last week was with the Baltimore game being pushed back multiple times, and then finally being played on Wednesday afternoon. And yeah, that was it's been a weird week. I'll say that it's been a weird week, and as much as I'm happy that the Steelers are still undefeated, last is that win on Wednesday felt like a downer because of everything that happened after that. Bud Dupree is out for the rest of the season, which that's a big part of the defense taken away. So yeah, so T.J. Watt is now going to have to play with Alex Highsmith, which he's been doing pretty well in the few times that he's played this season. So it's going to be interesting to see what he does tomorrow against Washington. And then after that, Sunday was a weird day in the NFL. Like, the Steelers had 4 chances to get into the playoffs. They needed to win. They needed Miami to lose. They needed the Raiders to lose. They needed Indianapolis to lose. And they also needed Cleveland to lose to attempt to possibly win the AFC North tomorrow. And none of that happened. The only way the Steelers are going to do the playoffs is if they win tomorrow. And then I think the week after that they deal with the AFC North thing, which I don't know. I mean, today was a weird day. Like, the Jets, who have been winless up to this point, had a chance to win the game, and then all of a sudden, on the last play of the game, they just gave up. They basically gave the Raiders a win. So there's that. But we're not talking about that. We're talking about the game the Steelers are playing tomorrow, against the Washington football team, which that 4-7 records might be a little bit of a, you get a little bit of a sense of possibly a trap game, but if you saw what the Washington football team did on Thanksgiving, where they pretty much dominated over the Dallas Cowboys, that means that there should be some concern going into this game. I mean, it's great to see that Alex Smith is playing again after what happened to him 2 years ago when he broke his leg, and it was a gruesome leg injury, and they thought that he wasn't going to play again. But you got to commend the guy for coming back and playing as well as he's been playing. But the Washington football team is scary, kind of, because they're a team that look like they can be defeated so easily, but then you see them play a game like they did against the Cowboys on Thanksgiving, and then all of a sudden they look like a team that could give the Steelers a tough time, especially considering the problems they're having on the defense right now, and especially what happened on Wednesday when everybody was struggling in that game against the Ravens. So it's weird. Plus, I don't even think this is going to be that big of a deal, because I think everybody who knows the Steelers over the last few years knows that Ben Roethlisberger, they say he's questionable to play tomorrow, but he's going to play tomorrow, so. And then watch, he doesn't play tomorrow, and then, but Chris Boswell is out. Excuse me. Another piece of the defensive line, Steven Nelson, is doubtful for tomorrow. Stephon Tuitt's going to be off the COVID list, so they'll get some help there on the defensive front. But this is going to be a very interesting game, because, I mean, the one thing going for it is that the Steelers have home field advantage, so I think they will win this game, but Washington's going to make it tough. I mean, Antonio Gibson, Peyton Barber, J.D. McKissick, 3 great running backs on the Washington football team. They probably will have a chance to run all over the Steelers' defense, especially in the parts that are banged up right now. And then there's Terry McLaurin, who's probably the best wide receiver they have on the team. And the defense for Washington is getting very good, especially with Chase Young, who was the 2nd overall pick, who might possibly have a breakout game in this one. So you don't really know what's going to happen. But the Steelers always find a way to win. So I don't know. I'm conflicted on this one. I think the Steelers can easily win this one, but I'm not going to be surprised if Washington makes it tough on them. It's going to be a really interesting game to watch. But unfortunately, I have to work tomorrow, so the usual little bits of me showing the score at the end of the half and then at the final score, that's not going to happen tomorrow. But I do have the clips from the Jerome Bettis show and from the Steelers kickoff show, and you're going to see those right now. And then the next time I see you, it'll be after the game.
Make sure to check out the FanDuel Sportsbook app or website for the most up-to-date odds.
Time now to beat the bus, and it's status quo, although I must say we really are all pretty bringing our A game here. We were all 4-0 on our picks last week. Jerome, that means I'm still ahead by just one game. Now the Steelers and Washington Monday afternoon. Who you got?
I'm going with the Steelers to win this football game. Again, it's going to be a tough game. The Steelers will win this football game because their defense will find a way to make some big stops in the game. The offense is going to struggle. This Washington football team defense is exceptional. They get after the quarterback, so it's going to be tough.
Taking a look at all of our picks from Monday afternoon, we all have the Steelers remaining undefeated. The FanDuel Sportsbook line as of this show taping is Steelers by 8. Now the Browns at the Titans. This should be a really good one. Tennessee favored by 6. We all have Tennessee to win. The Bengals at the Dolphins. No surprise, we all have Miami here. Dolphins favored to win in this one by a whopping 11.5 points. And on Tuesday, the Ravens and the Cowboys in Baltimore. We all have the Ravens bouncing back to stay in the playoff race. Ravens are 7.5-point favorites. And all of us staying the same. We all got Kansas City winning to keep the pressure on the Steelers. KC favored by 13.5. Make sure you check FanDuel.
Here are today's Pepsi Picks, brought to you by Pepsi, the official soft drink of the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Always fun to pick the winner. It seems easy. This Steelers team was a 10-point favorite when this line first came out. Now it's down to 7. So, Rich, who do you got in this game? Washington has had a lot of rest.
Yeah, I have the Steelers. I have the Steelers big. I think they rebound from that Ravens game, even though it's a short week here. I think the Steelers are a little motivated. That was I kind of throw that Ravens game out. It's a rivalry game. So I'm looking at they win this one pretty big. They win it. They cover the spread. I don't think that the Washington's defense is as good as we're saying they are right now. I do want to watch out for Antonio Gibson. I do think he has the ability to beat that Steelers defense.
Charlie.
Alex Smith, he has his team playing a lot better and a lot differently at this point. So I think with 10 days of rest, he keeps this team close. It's not a blowout. I think they win 24-17. Steelers.
Barry Dulac.
Yeah, Bob, I think the Steelers respond big after that unlashing following the game. I think they knew they fell prey to just throwing their helmets out on the field and playing. I expect them to win big in this game, 37-16.
Well, I expect the Steelers to win, but I have to give credit to Washington. They played much better. They're running 2 in a row. Their defense is better, so I like a close game there, 21-18. Now, who...
Well, that went as badly as I thought it could have gone. I mean, listen, I know the Steelers weren't going to go 16-0, and I know that was not a possibility, even though I've kind of teased it that, like I said, it would have been nice if they went 16-0, but I never said, no, they're going to go 16-0 at this point. This team clearly had problems that were building in the last couple of weeks, and tonight was just the night where they finally got to them, and I mean, wow, that was rough. That was rough, and I knew the moment Washington got points before the end of the first half, something bad was going to happen. I just knew in the back of my head that something was not going to work out here, and there you go. They just took Alex Smith and the Washington football team just took over in the second half, and they just completely dismantled the Steelers in this game. I mean, it was bad. It was really bad in that second half, and they've had bad second halves. They've had bad halves this season, but they've been able to come back from it. But this was just, it was unbelievable, some of the mistakes they were making, some of the most boneheaded plays I've ever seen from these coaches. Like the Anthony McFarland play on 4th and 1. You need a yard, and you try to go for a long play to a guy that hasn't caught the ball that far away yet. And it's, honestly, like I said, I'm not even upset that they lost. That Washington came in, and they're on. Like I said before, they're better than their record shows, and it shows the impact that Alex Smith had coming into that game, and what he was able to do for that team. I can't even blame him for that. I can't blame Alex Smith for beating us. I can't blame Ron Rivera for beating us. They deserve it. They've gone through a whole lot of crap the last couple of years. So, if anything, I'm more upset about myself because I feel like I jinx this team every single year around this time. Every single year when they have a chance to get into the playoffs, something bad happens. Like something unforeseen happens and then everything just falls off the cliff. Like 3 years ago, of course, after Ryan Shazier had that injury that ended up forcing him to early retirement. They beat the Ravens, and then they get the Patriots. They almost win that game, but of course the Jesse James catch didn't count, and then throws the interception, and then it was all downhill from there, because even though they did beat Houston, they did beat Cleveland. It was one and done against Jacksonville, and then the year after that, they beat Jacksonville in the thriller, and then go on that 4-game losing skid against Denver, and then the Raiders. 3-game losing skid, I mean. Denver, Chargers, and the Raiders. They beat the Patriots, and then the Saints, the fumble at the end of that game, finished 8-7-1 and completely missed the playoffs altogether. 2019, they're 8-5 with a backup quarterback. They just beat Arizona convincingly. Okay, here comes Buffalo. Here comes the Jets. Here comes the Ravens. These should be 3 easy wins here. Lose every single game and don't even make the playoffs, stuck at 8-8. They're in a better position now, but the injuries are just piling up on them. This is what everyone was worried about when they started reshuffling the schedule around, and the Steelers were getting consistently screwed out of bye weeks, because they need those bye weeks to get healthy and to get everybody back there. And tonight, the last week alone, they've lost Bud Dupree for the season. Steven Nelson was doubtful tonight, and he didn't play at all. They don't know if he's going to be ready for Buffalo. Robert Spillane, the guy who replaced Devin Bush, is out with a knee injury. We don't know what the seriousness of that, but I don't know. I'm not feeling too comfortable about that one. Joe Hayden had a concussion, and when you take all those pieces away, this defense can just be easily so picked apart. Like, who was the guy? I can't remember his name now. Now I need to check this. Hold on a second. Cam Sims, that's what I was thinking of. He just ran all over the Steelers. This is a guy who has not had a huge impact the last couple of weeks, and then all of a sudden he comes into this game and he has over 94 yards of offense. Was it 94 yards? I believe it was. Again, I'm checking as I'm doing this. But yeah, Cam Sims had a big game. I can't find the specific numbers, but I think it was over 90 yards. Logan Thomas had a big day. They did this without Antonio Gibson, who was out in the first half, but they still won. And just the problems the Steelers have been having the last couple of weeks, especially the running game. They do not have a running game at all. Like, they can't get the ball to Benny Snell without getting stopped at the line of scrimmage. Anthony McFarland can't get anything going, and they're throwing the ball way too much. They could have easily gotten into field goal range and won this game, but by just running the ball, but they can't do that because they don't have a good running back right now. And I'm conflicted right now. I'm just very conflicted because I don't know if this team can be good enough to last in the playoffs, because this was not the time to lose this game. Okay, maybe it was kind of the time to lose this game because it's a non-conference game, so it doesn't really affect the standings all that much, but a loss is still a loss, and Kansas City is 11-1 right now. And they're just waiting to get back into that top spot, so the door has just been opened there. And worst of all, Cleveland is now winning now, so I don't know. They got Buffalo next, Cincinnati, Indianapolis, Cleveland. Any other time, I'd say the Steelers got this. They've got a good chance of beating them, but these injuries keep piling up, and I don't know. I just don't know. I just have this feeling that it's only going to get worse before it gets better. So, I mean, like I always said, enjoy it while it lasts, because you're never going to have this type of moment again. And tonight was the night where it just came to an end. I don't think the season's not over by any means, but this first loss really stings because this was a game they could have easily won. But I can't even blame Washington for winning this game, honestly. So hopefully next week will be better, but I'm just not sure. I'm tired. I've had a rough day. Other things not related to this game have happened, so I'm just going to leave it here. I'll see you guys next week. Good night.